Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and today we're going to be talking about the trade deadline. We're going to give you some ideas of some trades that the Panthers could make, maybe some trades the Panthers ship off some guys.
Go ahead and start off with some trades here. We're going to go ahead and start with the big one. All the Panther fans, all Panthers Twitter is talking about Deshaun Watson. Now, it has been reported that, Dolphins are the front runner, that they're really close to a deal, but right now it hasn't been done, so we're just going to move on and say, let's talk about it. What would you give up for Deshaun Watson, or do you even want him?
Yeah, I mean, I want him. I think just from a football perspective, he's a top five quarterback when he's playing. He's still very young. What is he, 25?
Mm-hmm.
He's got everything you'd want from a physical standpoint, from a tools standpoint. The elephant in the room, of course, is the legal issues right now. 22 sexual assault lawsuits filed
Mm-hmm.
against him. Potential criminal charges pending. I mean, his lawyers say that they don't expect any criminal charges, but I know there's investigation going on. The commissioner came out today and said that they just don't have enough information to place him on the commissioner's exempt list as of right now. So it seems like if the Dolphins or the Panthers trade for him, that he could play.
Yeah.
And unless something else comes out about this stuff. So I think for me, if the Panthers were to trade for him, one of the things that I would want to see would be him just settling these things. I think Tepper, as a businessman, Tepper is gonna make a decision, risk versus reward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a businessman, a very successful one. So I think part of that risk, obviously, is what happens if he loses 22 of the, all these lawsuits, or even one of these lawsuits.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. So I don't know. What are you thinking? I mean, before we get into like compensation, how do you feel about it?
I have a mixed feeling. I really like Deshaun Watson as a player. I liked him in Clemson. I liked him. I thought he was very poorly scouted for the NFL draft. I thought Houston grabbed him and they were lucky.
He's a 10th pick, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. There was quite
draft?
a few players picked before him, quarterback wise too. I remember thinking, is he really the third or fourth best quarterback in this draft? That being said, the allegations are so rough. I mean, you don't want that type of person if the accusations are true. Now, I'm going to go on record. If he got a rub and tug that was consensual, that yes, it is illegal, but it was not forced on them. It was an agreed upon thing. I have no problem with that. Again, illegal, I understand that, but two consenting adults, I'm not really worried. It's just that other area where it's not consensual. And that's where it gets really hazy. And once that happens, I don't want that person on my team. I mean,
and of course, that's what the lawsuits are, right? Is that it was forced upon or unwanted sexual advances or touching, assault, essentially sexual assault. So that's what the allegations are. That's what the lawsuits are about. Of course, you hate to judge someone before legal process is played out. There are always two sides to every story. Can't just assume that he is guilty, but it's a lot of smoke.
It is a lot of smoke.
It's a lot of smoke. And I mean, obviously, character-wise, for the Panthers especially, coming from the Jerry Richardson era, where you had the sexual misconduct stuff, and trying to move away from that and trying to create a new culture, is this the right move for that?
Yeah.
That movement.
And let's be
not.
fair. Let's be fair to Deshaun Watson. As soon as the first couple girls came out, he came out saying, "Hey, these girls were trying to get money out of me a few weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago, and I told them no because this was not true." And then it just seemed like it continued to pile up. So he adamantly has denied this. So, and you're right with the Panthers organization, but in Tepper's eyes too, to trade for a MVP caliber quarterback in the prime of his career or going into his prime doesn't
And
have a chance.
The only reason he's even available is because of all this mess, right? Like, I know he wanted to be traded even before all this stuff came out, but the Texans weren't going to do that. They had to give him an extension. They'd have done something to make him happy. I don't think he would have been even considered to be traded.
Well, he got an extension last year, so
yeah,
it wasn't about money.
I'm just saying they would have done something, right, to keep him happy. Because a guy like this just doesn't get traded in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
And even, he's still very early in his career. So the allegations are really the only reason why so many teams have an option here. But so, all right, let's just say, for the sake of the podcast here, it is something that the Panthers are going to do. He settles all of his lawsuits, that it's no longer an issue, from a disciplinary perspective. The asking price is high, as he's an MVP caliber quarterback, like you just said. So initially the asking price was, multiple first round picks, at least 3, several young starting players, and then probably some other picks thrown in. So I saw someone, a Houston fan today, tweet 3 first rounders, Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns, JC Horn. Ideally, that's what we would like. I said, yeah, I bet that's what you would like. I bet that would get the deal done. That's too much, in my opinion. But, 3 first round picks and, Robbie Anderson.
Oh,
sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Throw in Sam Darnold for free.
Well, I wish I remembered who reported this, but the Texans were offered 2 first rounds and 2 second rounds for him in the draft or before the draft, and they denied it. I also read a report that teams aren't coming close to that currently.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better. Maybe 2 first rounders and a player. I mean, I don't know which player you're going to go with. I mean, I would love it to be Robbie Anderson, but I don't think that would be the type
probably
of player.
Not. Yeah,
but
probably not. Now they do need wide receiver help there. Like they don't have a lot of playmakers on that team. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but at a minimum, I think you're probably looking at least 2 first round picks, and plus, plus other things. So again, it all comes down to the allegations, I think. How comfortable are you?
Yeah. Quick question. DJ Moore. They need. Would you trade him?
No.
DJ Moore, Brian Burns.
No, I mean, again, it depends. Like, am I trading DJ Moore straight up for Deshaun Watson? Yeah,
no.
But
this is included
are we saying
with
2 first round picks, a bunch of other picks, plus DJ Moore?
No. We're 2 first rounds and DJ Moore,
and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you asked me before the season started, I would say yeah, because we had Robbie Anderson, but Robbie Anderson can't catch the ball.
Yeah.
So who's going to catch the ball? Who's going to catch Deshaun Watson's passes?
No, I understand. I'm making you trying to see what.
I would say of those 2, I would say Burns, over Moore in terms of who I would rather trade, just because the defense is stronger and we got players that could step in and at least be 75% of what Burns is. I mean, I would probably think more like Chin, even though I love Chin, I would rather him than Burns. Yeah. But ideally, someone like Robbie Anderson. I mean, Terrace Marshall is a possibility. Some of the really young guys, I don't want to trade Horn.
No, I wouldn't want to trade Horn either.
No, but throw AJ Bouye or something in there, maybe. I don't know. It just depends. But outside of Watson, let's say that we're the third team in this trade, and it's the Dolphins, Houston, and Carolina, and then Tua is coming to Carolina. Is Tua an upgrade over Darnold?
Yes.
But he obviously doesn't sound like he's a guy that you.
I really liked him coming out of the draft, but he hasn't shown much.
He's had a rough, he's had some rough couple of years.
And I think Brian Flores is a decent coach. So it's not like he's coming from god awful coaching like Darnold did.
Adam Gase.
Yeah. Oh man,
I think that's a possibility though.
The good news is he's left-handed, so Taylor Moton would be on his blind side. That's good.
True. I mean, that's almost a reason to do it right there. Honestly, that solves two problems.
I mean, I'm being honest. That would really help out.
I think he'd be a lot cheaper. He certainly wouldn't be multiple first-round picks. You may have to throw a first-round pick in there to get to a. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. But I think it's a possibility. I truly do. I don't think there's any other quarterbacks really worth even talking about.
The only one I could see is if Philadelphia pulls off the Deshaun Watson trade and then maybe Jalen Hurts.
They also have
Minshew,
who, they just traded Flacco, so they don't have any other quarterbacks. But if you could do Darnold plus a fifth rounder for Minshew, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, but he has that $15 million tag next year. So,
or who, Darnold or Minshew?
Darnold. He's got that rookie.
I think it's even more than that, but yeah. So. I know. That's why you have to throw in the fifth rounder, but I don't know.
Take the salary,
obviously,
please.
Again, these are trades that are probably not going to happen. But all right. Well, speaking of the Eagles, I've got another one here. Left tackle Andre Dillard.
Yeah, he's on my list too.
On your list too, yeah. He's been a guy that's sort of been relegated to a rotational role. Mm-hmm. Not playing a ton for them, but when he is playing, he's playing fairly well.
Yeah,
he would certainly be an upgrade.
Yeah, he's former first-round talent. Mm-hmm. Hasn't panned out, but like you said, has been playing well in spot duty. That being said, I don't think we have the capital for him. We don't have a second or third round pick this year. I mean, I don't see us giving up a first round pick for him because that's just way too much. And I don't see
a fourth. That's something to say about all of these trades. Like the Panthers have traded a lot of their draft capital. Mm-hmm. Really, even some in 2023 now. So it's a lot of this is just not even going to be possible, unfortunately.
Now,
if you think it's a second or a third, or you think they could get him for a fourth?
I don't think a fourth. I think the value of a backup left tackle is more than a fourth.
And he's like the only one even
remotely being talked about.
Possible. Yeah.
But here's a player that I was going to bring up later. Etor Gross-Matos. Maybe a player for player type of swap, and maybe we throw in a fifth round pick. Something like that. I like Etor, but with Hassan Reddick blooming and then Fox got signed here, I could see him being expendable, but still being young and talented where the Philly would want him.
Yeah.
So
he's not been out there enough really to show that he's a bust.
No. And he's looked good when he's played.
He's made some good plays. So it could be a good trade bait there. Who else do you have that the Panthers could go after?
The only other one I could see low round picks, Austin Blythe, center / guard, Kansas City. He's played before last year. He's just not playing this year because I can't think of the guy's name. Give me 1 second. Their starting center has really taken off. He's 29.
What team is this?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
So he's been decent, not great. I mean, there's a reason why he's no longer the starter, but he's only 29. You get him in, and you know how Matt Rule and Fitterer love these guys who can play multiple positions. That was kind of what I'm going with.
Okay, so you're focused on the O-line. Obviously, I mean, a good place to focus, right? So I've got one. I've got three more here. Two of them are sort of we can talk
If
about
you
in
say
tandem.
OJ Howard again this year for like the third or fourth year in a row,
All right. Well, I'm going to start with Tracy Walker. He's a safety from the Lions. He's having a pretty good season. Um, I don't really know in terms of compensation what people would want. I've seen like a fifth round pick thrown around. Safeties just don't seem to be in demand.
no.
I mean, we see like good safeties into free agency 4 or 5 weeks into free agency before they're even signed. So, but Tracy, well, I think safety could be upgraded for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a name to look at, whether the Panthers trade for him or someone else does. I think he's got a possibility there. The Lions are terrible. They will be sellers.
Especially if Burris can't shake off that injury, because as sad as this is, they are really banking on him becoming something, because Chandler and Franklin have not taken over that role like I was hoping one of them would.
Yeah. Yep. So I think safety is a possibility there. And the last couple I want to talk about are tight ends.
You with this tight end.
I think Tayden Hearst from the Falcons. Now, these interdivisional trades, I don't know. How often they really happen, but Tayden Hearst is sort of expendable there now with Kyle Pitts, and he's talented. He would immediately become the best tight end on the team. Of course, the Panthers traded away Dan Arnold, and I think that's a similar skill set there to Tayden Hearst. So they obviously didn't feel like they needed Dan Arnold. Turns out I think they did, because our tight end core is just not doing anything. Again, I know how you feel about it, that they're not really part of the offense. But I think if we had a good one, they would be part of the offense.
But
we've had this conversation.
You just asked for Tayden Hearst, who has a similar skill set to Dan Arnold, but Dan Arnold wasn't really used in the first games that he was here.
Well, he was only here for like 2 games, right?
I think it was 3 games, and he had 7 catches the games. Okay,
well, this other one here, he would definitely be used. Okay, Mr. OJ Howard, tight end for the Bucks. I still believe. I mean, I watched him play. What was it? Whenever the Bucks played last, I watched that game. Hey, he's such a beast, man. Like he doesn't get a lot of passes thrown his way because there's so many mouths to feed on that offense. But he is good, and he would immediately. He's huge. He's fast. He's got decent hands. I think he would be an incredible addition to this team, and I'll keep saying it until either he retires or the Panthers trade for him or sign him, in free agency or something. So I like OJ Howard. I think he'd be a fun player on the team.
I have no problem with bringing in OJ Howard. It's just not going to happen with Tampa Bay being interdivisional, like I've said multiple years now.
Yeah, but are they even really in our division anymore? Like they've ascended to a higher plane of division, I think.
Right now they are. Not only that, like I said, I'm not sure Joe Brady really attacks a tight end position. It just doesn't seem that way. I know we haven't had the best quarterbacks under Joe Brady, but Joe Brady's offense doesn't seem to scheme that way either.
Joe Brady's offense, there's a lot.
It doesn't scheme to score points. The way it looks like, but
let's be honest. Joe Brady's going to come up in our next segment here, but yeah. All right. So just thinking of guys that the Panthers could trade away. You mentioned Etor. He was on my list as a possible trade sell, I guess. Robbie Anderson, I think, is definitely on there. I don't know what his value is at this point. He's just played so terribly. He's got the contract now. It's not a huge contract, but it's in that range of solid number 2 wide receiver. And he's not playing like that right now at all. And then I think you go ahead.
I have one person that is I'm not expecting it to happen, that I could honestly see it happening, though. The way the losses have been piling up, the way this team has been forming around here, Dante Jackson is on the last year of his contract. With Stephon Gilmore, C.J. Henderson, J.C. Horn on this team, and Fitterer in on every deal, maybe he gets a first-round pick for him. I mean, okay, Probably not a first round pick, but maybe something.
I think if they were offered a first round pick, they would take that immediately.
Late first round or something like that. I mean,
yeah, or even a second.
He's playing really well, guys. So
he is playing great.
But
he's playing great.
Maybe something like that, Fitterer decides to move him because they don't think they're going to re-sign him next year, and they're not doing anything.
That's that. I hadn't even thought of that, but it makes perfect sense. And hell, he could even be included in one of these bigger trades that we've talked about. As a valuable piece. So of course, that's a little bit devalued because you're going to have to sign him. He's not locked up currently. But that's a good one. That's a good one. That's an interesting one. The only other one that I even thought, could be a possibility is CMC. Again, where's his value right now? I don't know. I don't want to trade him. I don't think the Panthers will trade him. But if it is one of these, a Deshaun Watson trade where you include CMC in that, and that's your big player, honestly, it would kind of solve a couple of problems for the Panthers.
And it would match salaries too. Yeah. I mean, Deshaun has a bigger salary, but they would be able to take on that salary with him coming.
Right. So very unlikely. And it would hurt the offense. I mean, we've seen what the offense is without McCaffrey. It's trash. It's terrible. But it's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. So I don't know. The Lions have a couple of really nice running backs. Maybe we trade for one of those. DeAndre Swift is awesome. He's kind of McCaffrey light. It'd be nice to have him here.
Well, supposedly the Panthers have called on Marlon Mack, but the price was too high. So
that's right. Yeah, I'm surprised the price was too high. They're not even playing him.
I don't know. I mean,
I like Marlon Mack.
I do too, and I'm shocked he isn't getting any snaps. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's another team that's got a pretty good running back core. So makes me jealous. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for the trade deadline talk. If anybody else has any ideas, any trades that you'd like to see, hit us up. We'll be back in a couple of days, and we can kind of run through some. But hit us up on Twitter, MeowMix podcast on Twitter, or mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com for email. Until then, everybody stay safe out there. Happy Halloween and keep pounding.